The envelope arrived without a return address. Slipped into the stack of investor reports on her desk like a ghost from a life she had buried under layers of code and capital. Samantha's fingers froze mid-signature, the ink bleeding slightly on the contract below. As she recognized the handwriting, elegant loops and deliberate strokes that whispered Elena's name before her brain could catch up. In that instant, the glass walls of her corner office in San Francisco's Soma district seemed to shatter inward, pulling her back to a rain-soaked night in a Vermont cabin where promises had cracked like thunder. Samantha Harper had always believed silence was her sharpest tool. 34. She was the architect of WhisperNet, a tech empire that turned encrypted whispers into billions, safeguarding the secrets of politicians, celebrities, and CEOs who paid fortunes to keep their truths locked away. Her rise had been meteoric. A dropout from Stanford who coded her first app in a cramped Haight-Ashbury apartment, bootstrapping from freelance gigs to venture capital darlings fawning over her unbreakable algorithms. The media called her the Queen of Quiet, a moniker she wore like armor. Her interviews sparse and her personal life a vault no one dared pick. But that envelope, postmarked from Portland, Oregon, held the key she had spent a decade forging chains to forget. She slid it open with a letter opener shaped like a dagger, a gift from her COO, a nod to her ruthless boardroom style. Inside was a single sheet of cream stationery, the words typed but signed in that same looping script. I have the drive. The one you thought you erased. Meet me at the cabin. You know the one. E. No demands. No threats. Just the weight of what they both knew. The drive. A thumb-sized relic from their shared past, containing not just code but confessions, emails, recordings. A digital diary of love and lies that could unravel everything. Samantha's pulse thrummed in her ears as she crumpled the paper. Her reflection in the floor-to-ceiling windows showing a woman whose empire rested on the lie that she had never broken. The cabin. Nestled in the Green Mountains of Vermont, it was where they had first collided 5 years before her breakthrough. Back when Samantha was just Sam, a 20-something drifter with a laptop and a heart full of jagged edges. Elena Vasquez had been the opposite, a painter from a tight-knit Mexican-American family in Chicago. All vibrant strokes and unfiltered laughter. Studying at Bennington College on a scholarship that barely covered her canvases. They met at a queer art collective's open mic night in Burlington, where Elena's spoken-word piece about fractured identities had left the room breathless. Samantha, nursing a cheap whiskey after a failed pitch to a local startup incubator, had approached her afterward, mumbling something about the rawness of her words mirroring her own buggy code. What started as late-night debates over takeout Thai turned into stolen weekends driving the winding roads to that rented cabin, a sagging A-frame owned by Elena's professor. There, amid the scent of pine and wet earth, they built something fragile and fierce. Elena taught Samantha to see the world in colors, dragging her into meadows to sketch wildflowers while Samantha ranted about quantum encryption. In bed, under quilts patched from Elena's abuela's fabrics, they mapped each other's bodies like uncharted code, slow explorations that left them gasping, whispering futures where Samantha's app would fund Elena's gallery dreams. You're my glitch, Elena had murmured once, tracing the scar on Samantha's eyebrow from a childhood bike crash. The beautiful error that makes everything else make sense. But glitches multiply. Samantha's app caught the eye of a Silicon Valley scout during a demo in Boston, and suddenly auditions for accelerator programs pulled her west. Elena followed for a summer, crashing on Samantha's futon in Oakland, her paint splattering the walls like accusations when the calls from VCs turned into all-nighters. The fights escalated, Elena's pleas for presence clashing with Samantha's terror of stagnation. "You're building walls, not bridges," Elena accused one night, her voice cracking as rain lashed the windows. Samantha, exhausted and cornered, lashed back. "And you're the anchor dragging me under." The breaking point came in a motel off Route 101. After Samantha landed her first seed funding. Celebratory champagne soured into screams when Elena discovered the drive, Samantha's backup of their intimate recordings, meant as a private archive but now a Pandora's box of vulnerabilities. Elena, feeling exposed, demanded its destruction. In the heat, Samantha accused her of paranoia, of not trusting the woman she loved. Words flew like shrapnel: betrayal, control, the fear that Elena's artistic chaos would sabotage her ascent. By dawn, Elena was gone, the drive left behind like a severed limb. Samantha erased it, or thought she did. In her frenzy to bury the pain, she overwrote files, smashed the motel lamp in a fit, and drove back to the Bay Area alone. The silence that followed was her salvation. She channeled the ache into code, WhisperNet born from the need to lock away what hurt most. Investors poured in, praising her focus. The press lauded her as a self-made enigma. Dates were fleeting, polite dinners with women who saw her as a conquest, never a confidant. Elena became a ghost story she told herself at 3 a.m., the one variable she had debugged from her life. Now, 5 years later, the ghost demanded resurrection. Samantha paced her office, the city sprawl below a glittering distraction of fog-shrouded bridges and ferries cutting the bay. Her assistant, Jordan, a non-binary was kid with neon blue hair and impeccable timing, knocked softly. "Samantha? The board's waiting for the quarterly." "You okay? You look like you've seen a poltergeist." She forced a smile, the kind that had charmed TED stages. "Just ghosts in the machine. Jord." "Tell them 5 minutes." As Jordan vanished, Samantha deleted the email confirmation she had fired off in a haze, a one-way ticket to Burlington. She couldn't ignore it. The drive held proof not just of their love, but of the lie that had propelled her forward. In overwriting it, she had accidentally preserved fragments, timestamps, metadata linking to a prototype app she had borrowed ideas for from Elena's tech-savvy brother, a Chicago coder whose ethics clashed with Samantha's ambition. If exposed, it wasn't just heartbreak, it was intellectual property theft, the kind that toppled founders. The flight to Vermont was a blur of turbulence mirroring her gut. She rented a Jeep at the airport, the familiar crunch of gravel under tires pulling memories like threads from a seam. The cabin emerged from the dusk like a reproach, its porch light flickering as if Elena had been waiting. Samantha killed the engine, her breath fogging the glass. Footsteps on the leaves, deliberate, unhurried. The door creaked open, and there she was, Elena, unchanged yet transformed. Dark curls tamed into a bob, paint-speckled overalls swapped for a wool sweater and jeans that hugged her curves, eyes the color of aged whiskey holding steady. "You came," Elena said, voice low and laced with something unreadable, relief, or the edge of a blade. Samantha stepped out, the chill biting through her cashmere coat. "You left me no choice." "The drive, what do you want with it?" Elena's laugh was soft, bitter as autumn wind. "What I always wanted, Sam. The truth. But we'll get to that. Come inside. It's colder than your heart out here." The interior was a time capsule, Elena's old canvases stacked in corners, the quilt still on the bed, a fire crackling in the stone hearth. They sat across from each other at the scarred oak table, mugs of herbal tea steaming between them, chamomile for Elena, black for Samantha. Habits unchanged. Elena pulled a small black drive from her pocket, sliding it across like a gauntlet. I found it in that motel trash bin. You missed a spot. Samantha's hand trembled as she took it, the plastic warm from Elena's touch. Why now? After all this time? Because your silence is killing more than just us. Elena leaned forward, her gaze stripping away the years. WhisperNet isn't just code, Sam. It's a cage. And I'm the fool who still cares enough to set you free. The conversation unraveled slowly at first, threads of what-ifs weaving into accusations. Elena had moved to Portland after the split, channeling her rage into murals for queer youth shelters, her work gaining quiet acclaim in Pacific Northwest galleries. She had followed Samantha's ascent from afar. Forbes covers, gala photos with starlets on her arm, each milestone a twist of the knife. I thought you'd crash and burn without me, Elena admitted, stirring her tea. But you just got better at pretending. Samantha stared into the flames, the drive heavy in her palm. Pretending saved me. You were the chaos, Elena, the one thing I couldn't encrypt. The words hung, sharp as the first snow flurries tapping the window. Elena's eyes welled, but she blinked it back, her voice steady. Chaos? That's what you called love when it scared you. Remember the night we drove here after your demo? You said this place was our firewall against the world. Samantha did remember, the way Elena's hand had lingered on her thigh as they navigated hairpin turns, radio playing Joni Mitchell's laments, the cabin's isolation a promise of sanctuary. They had made love on the rug by the fire, bodies syncing like flawless algorithms, Elena's whispers in Spanish blending with Samantha's gasps. It was the last time she felt whole. I erased you because I had to, Samantha said finally, voice cracking. The funding round, they wanted purity. No distractions. And that drive. It had everything. Our nights. Your poems. Even that email from your brother about the encryption tweak. If it leaked, I'd lose it all. Elena's face hardened, the firelight carving shadows across her cheekbones. So you chose silence over us. Built your fortune on forgetting the woman who believed in you first. The accusation landed like a system crash. Samantha stood, pacing the creaky floorboards, the drive clutched like a talisman. Outside, the woods whispered secrets of their own, owls calling, branches scraping like forgotten code. She wanted to rage, to hurl the drive into the flames and walk away again. But Elena's presence was a magnet, pulling at the void she had filled with board meetings and buyouts. Tell me what you want, Samantha repeated, stopping before her. Inches apart, the air thickened with the scent of Elena's lavender soap and wood smoke. Money? A buyout for your silence. Elena's hand rose, cupping Samantha's jaw with a gentleness that undid her. I want you to remember. Not the lie, the truth. That night in the motel, you didn't just overwrite files. You overwrote us. Their lips met then, tentative as a debug test, then fierce as a full system rollback. Samantha tasted salt and surrender, Elena's fingers threading through her hair, tugging just enough to ground her. They stumbled to the bed, shedding layers, coat, sweater, shirt, until skin met skin in the fire's glow. It was slower this time, reverent. Elena's mouth tracing the scar on her eyebrow. Samantha's hands relearning the dip of Elena's waist. The curve of her hip. Gasps filled the room, mingled with murmurs of apology and ache. Bodies remembering what minds had suppressed. Afterward, tangled in the quilt, Elena traced patterns on Samantha's back. The drive isn't leverage, Sam. It's proof that you stole from us. That tweak your app uses? It was my brother's idea. Shared in bed one night because I trusted you. Samantha bolted upright, the weight crashing down. I integrated it without thinking. It was perfect for the prototype. I credited the concept to a pseudonymous source in the white paper. A source. Elena's tone was ice. Me. And now your whole empire runs on it. If I go public, you won't. Samantha's plea was raw. Please. I'll make it right. Share. Credit, whatever. But Elena shook her head. Sitting up, the sheet pooling around her waist. It's not about money. It's about the silence. You've hidden so much, your queerness in those investor pitches. Our love like it was a bug to patch. Portland changed me. I run workshops now. For women like us. Teaching them to speak their truths. You could do that too. The idea lodged in Samantha's chest like a virus. WhisperNet as a tool for amplification. Not suppression. But fear coiled tight. The board would crucify me. The scandal. Then let them. Elena's eyes burned. Or stay silent forever. Dawn broke gray and relentless, painting the cabin in muted tones. Samantha dressed in silence, the drive in her pocket a burning coal. She drove back to Burlington alone. Elena's goodbye a brush of lips at the door. Come back when you're ready to break the code. Back in San Francisco, the city assaulted her with its clamor, honking Ubers, the hum of data centers, Jordan's eager debriefs. She plugged the drive into her secure laptop, files resurrecting like specters, audio of Elena's laughter, video of them dancing in the kitchen to old vinyl. And there the email chain. Timestamp. Irrefutable. Her brother's note. Try this hash variant for your lover's app. It'll make it unbreakable. Unbreakable. The irony soured her stomach. She buried herself in work. Greenlighting expansions into AI ethics consulting. A nod to Elena's words, but the pull was constant. Late nights bled into calls with lawyers. Contingency plans for exposure. A gala at the De Young Museum forced her into a gown of midnight silk, mingling with donors who praised her impenetrable vision. But across the room, a familiar face. Marcus Vasquez, Elena's brother. Now a freelance consultant with a beard and a knowing smile. Sam, he said. Clinking glasses. His Chicago accent unchanged. Heard you're still whispering secrets. The small talk curdled. Marcus. Portland treating you well. Better than silence. He leaned in. Elena's been painting again. About ghosts. You should see the one of a woman building walls from code. Guilt not deeper. Weeks blurred. A prototype update incorporating open source credits. Anonymous donations to Elena's workshops. But the dreams came, Elena's hands on her. The cabin's warmth dissolving into cold boardrooms. One rainy Tuesday, Samantha cracked, booking another flight. The cabin was empty this time. Door ajar. A canvas left on the porch. Abstract swirls of blue and gold. A figure emerging from shadow. Hand extended. Inside. A note. The drive is yours to destroy. But the truth? That's in you now. Find me in Portland if you want to paint over the silence. E. Samantha sank to the floor, sobs racking her frame for the first time in years. The fortune she built was hollow without voice. The woman she forgot held not proof of ruin, but redemption. Portland greeted Samantha with drizzle that clung like regret, the Willamette River mirroring the steel-gray sky as she navigated her rental Prius through Alberta Arts District. The address Elena had scrawled on the canvas led to a converted warehouse loft, its exterior splashed with murals of intertwined figures, women in profile, hands clasped against stormy backdrops, colors bleeding into one another like unresolved emotions. Samantha parked, her heart a erratic drumbeat, the drive still in her jeans pocket like a talisman she couldn't discard. She buzzed the intercom, voice steady despite the tremor in her fingers. "It's Sam. I'm here to paint." The door clicked open to a stairwell echoing with distant laughter. Elena's workshops in full swing below. Samantha ascended, each step shedding the armor of her Bay Area life. The power suits, the calculated smiles. At the top, Elena waited in the doorway, paint-flecked apron over a simple tank and cargoes, her bob tousled as if from running hands through it. No embrace, just a tilt of head inviting her in. The loft was a riot of creation, easels clustered like conspirators, walls papered in sketches of queer icons from Audre Lorde to local drag performers, the air thick with turpentine and turmeric tea. Sunlight slanted through industrial windows, gilding dust motes that danced like forgotten pixels. Elena led her to a corner studio, a low table laden with charcoals and oils, two stools facing a blank canvas twice their height. "You came," Elena said again, echoing their reunion, but softer now, laced with curiosity rather than challenge. She poured tea from a chipped pot, handing Samantha a mug etched with "Speak Your Color." "I couldn't not." Samantha sipped, the warmth grounding her. "The painting, the one on the porch. It was us, wasn't it?" Reaching. Elena nodded, wiping her hands on a rag, smearing ochre across her knuckles. "All my ghosts are reaching these days. Sit. Let's see if you still remember how to make marks." They worked in tandem. Silence a bridge rather than a wall. Elena sketched first, bold lines etching a horizon of jagged peaks, Vermont's outline bleeding into San Francisco's spires. Samantha hesitated, charcoal trembling, then slashed a figure at the center, herself, fragmented, code-like symbols orbiting her form. Elena watched, her breath catching at the rawness, the scar rendered as a lightning bolt, eyes hollowed by shadow. As layers built, so did words. Elena spoke of Portland's pull, the city's underbelly of artist co-ops and pride parades that spilled into every street, where she had found community after the fracture. "I taught kids to draw their silences first," she said, blending cerulean into the sky. "Then to shatter them with red." Samantha shared fragments, the loneliness of summits, how WhisperNet's success amplified isolation. "Every encryption feels like locking you away again." I credited the hash in the last update, anonymous nod to a Chicago source. "Marcus knows." Elena's brush paused, a smile ghosting her lips. "He does. He laughed when I told him you were panicking over NDAs. Said you always were a fixer." The afternoon waned into evening, the canvas alive with tension, storms clashing, figures entwining at the edges. Hunger pulled them to the kitchenette. A chaotic space of mismatched cabinets and herbs drying from the ceiling. Elena assembled tacos, corn tortillas warmed on a comal, fillings of black beans, avocado, and chipotle from her family's recipes, while Samantha chopped cilantro, the domestic rhythm easing old aches. Over plates balanced on knees, they delved deeper. Elena confessed the drive's recovery, dumpster diving in a haze of hurt, piecing it together like a mosaic of betrayal. I kept it as a reminder. Not to hurt you, but to heal me. Portland forced that, seeing women rise from their own ashes. Samantha set her plate aside. Vulnerability cresting. I hurt you most. That motel night. I was terrified. My mom had just died. The funding was my lifeline out of grief. You were the light, but I dimmed it to survive. Elena's eyes softened, hand finding Samantha's across the table. Grief isn't a solo debug, Sam. We could have coded through it together. The touch ignited, pulling them to the loft's bedroom, a nest of rumpled linens and half-read poetry books. They undressed with intention. Elena's fingers unbuttoning Samantha's blouse like unwrapping a gift long awaited. Kisses mapped scars and sighs. Bodies aligning in a dance of rediscovery. Elena's thigh pressing between Samantha's, eliciting moans that echoed off brick walls. Samantha's lips on Elena's collarbone, tasting salt and spice. It was urgent yet tender. Climaxes crashing like waves on the Columbia, leaving them spent and stitched closer. Morning brought coffee and clarity. Elena had a workshop to lead, but invited Samantha to shadow, queer women and non-binary folks gathering in the warehouse below. Canvases their confessional. Samantha lingered at the edges, watching Elena guide a young trans artist through shading her transition timeline. Another woman layering hues over domestic violence scars. Art isn't silence, Elena told the group. It's the crack where light gets in. Inspired, Samantha slipped out mid-session, drive in hand, heading to a nearby FedEx. She formatted it clean, then mailed duplicates to her board with a cover letter. Transparency update, core algorithm roots. Back at the loft, Elena found her sketching alone, a self-portrait. Walls crumbling into rainbows. You're staying? Elena asked, hope threading her voice. For now, Samantha pulled her close. Teach me to speak in colors. Days blurred into a rhythm. Mornings painting. Afternoons exploring Portland's layers. Hikes in Forest Park where ferns whispered forgiveness. Evenings at dive bars with live jazz and two-step dances that left them flushed. Samantha's phone buzzed with bored queries, but she silenced them, diving into Elena's world. One night, over rooftop stargazing with a thermos of mulled wine, Elena broached the future. WhisperNet could evolve. Amplify voices, not just hide them. Partner with groups like mine. The seed took root. Samantha's mind whirring with possibilities, apps for survivor testimonies. Encrypted but shareable. Turning silence into solidarity. But doubt lingered. Her COO's emails escalated to urgent. Whispers of investor jitters over the credit disclosure. The fracture came via video call. Jordan's face pixelated on Samantha's laptop. The board's flipping. That anonymous source smells like IP grab. Stocks dipped 3 points. You need to spin this. Elena, overhearing from the kitchen, set down her mug with a clink. Spin? Or own? Samantha ended the call. Tension coiling. It's not that simple. My life's there, our life was here. But this. It's everything. Elena's response was quiet fire. Everything? Or just the cage you built? Choose. Sam. The fortune or the truth? She stormed to the studio, leaving Samantha adrift. That night, alone on the fire escape, Samantha plugged in the drive one last time, files now backups of their new sketches, scanned poems, a video of Elena laughing in the rain. But the old ghosts played. Their motel fight. Her voice venomous. You're holding me back. Tears blurred the screen. By dawn, resolve hardened. Samantha booked a flight, but not away, from Portland to San Francisco. Then back with cargo, Elena's largest canvas. The reaching figures, destined for WhisperNet's lobby. At the airport, Elena met her, eyes wary. I'm not running, Samantha said, pressing the drive into her palm. Upload it. All of it. Let the world see the glitch that made me. Elena's fingers closed around it, a sob escaping. You'll lose it all. Or gain us. Their kiss was fierce. A vow amid the terminal's rush. The flight west was turbulent. Samantha drafting press releases mid-air. From silence to symphony. Reclaiming my roots. Landing. She headed straight to headquarters. The Soma streets alive with possibility. Jordan met her at the elevator. Brows furrowed. Bold move. But the board will adapt. Samantha strode to the conference room. Elena's canvas unrolled like a banner. Or I'll find ones who won't. The meeting erupted. Accusations of recklessness. Projections of fallout. But as Samantha laid bare the story, not the theft, but the collaboration, the love that inspired unbreakable bonds, murmurs shifted. A venture partner, a queer woman from the accelerator days, nodded. Authenticity sells. Let's amplify. By evening, the announcement hit wires. WhisperNet pivots to ethical voice tech, crediting Elena Vasquez and Marcus as foundational collaborators. Shares wobbled, then stabilized. Calls flooded in from allies in the queer tech space. Portland called her back that weekend. Elena's loft a haven. They made love under strung lights. Bodies a canvas of affirmation. Whispers now of futures painted bold. San Francisco reclaimed Samantha with its relentless pulse. The Bay Bridge a steel vein pumping opportunity and obligation. Her pivot announcement rippled through the ecosystem like a stone in the financial district's koi pond. Startups buzzed with speculation. VCs hedged bets. And the tech press dissected her coming out not just as queer, but as human. From fortress to forum, Harper's heart hack. One headline quipped, pairing it with the stock photo of the Golden Gate shrouded in fog. Elena's canvas hung in the lobby now, floodlit like a confession, drawing curious interns who whispered about the mystery muse. Samantha thrived in the chaos, channeling it into redesigns. WhisperNet's new suite, Echo Chamber, allowed users to encrypt personal narratives for safe sharing. Survivor stories vaulted until ready to echo. Elena flew in for the beta launch, her presence a quiet anchor amid the schmoozing. At the demo party in a converted pier warehouse, she mingled in an emerald dress that hugged her frame, fielding questions from reporters with grace. It's not my story, she demurred when asked about the canvas. It's ours. But undercurrents stirred. Not all welcomed the shift. Harlan, a silver-haired veteran from the Google exodus, cornered her in a coat room. Bourbon breath sharp. This vulnerability play? It's suicide. Investors want steel, not sentiment. That Vasquez credit's already got patent trolls sniffing. Samantha's jaw set. The old silence tempting. Or its evolution. Echo Chambers pre-sales are up 20%. Harlan's laugh was gravel. Pre-sales from pinkwashing allies. Wait till the first lawsuit hits. The warning festered. Back at her Pacific Heights penthouse, a sleek area of glass antique overlooking Alcatraz, Samantha paced. Elena sketching idly on the balcony. He's wrong, Samantha insisted. Pouring scotch neat. This is us real. Unbreakable. Elena set her charcoal aside, pulling her onto a chaise. Unbreakable doesn't mean unchallenged. Remember Vermont? We thought we were invincible too. Their lovemaking that night was a reclamation. Elena's nails raking Samantha's back as she arched beneath her. Moans mingling with the distant foghorn's wail. In the afterglow, Elena traced constellations on her skin. Stay with me in Portland halftime. Let the city breathe you. The proposal lodged deep. But San Francisco's gravity pulled. Weeks later, the troll materialized. A cease and desist from a Chicago firm claiming the hash variant predated Marcus's email. Harlan crowed, "I told you," while Jordan scrambled for counters. Samantha, sleepless, dove into archives, unearthing the drive's metadata, timestamps proving precedence. But doubt crept. Had she truly credited fully? Or hedged with legalese? Elena sensed it during a weekend escape to Point Reyes, where ocean winds whipped the cliffs. They hiked the Tamales Point Trail, wild elk grazing like indifferent witnesses. At the lighthouse, Elena pressed her against the railing. Kiss salty with sea spray. Fight fair. Sam. No more ghosts. Back home. The suit escalated to deposition. Samantha testified in a sterile conference room. Her words measured. The drive's contents projected like evidence in a trial of the heart. The opposing counsel, a slick woman with a bob like Elena's, probed. Ms. Harper. This collaboration, was it consensual? Or coerced in intimacy? The room spun. Elena, in the gallery, met her eyes steady, believing. Samantha straightened. Intimacy was the consent. Love built the code. The case dragged, draining resources. Harlan's faction on the board pushing for a settlement that buried credits. Samantha resisted. But fractures showed. Cancelled pilots. Whispers at conferences. One evening, post-hearing, Elena found her curled on the penthouse floor. Laptop open to leaked emails, Harlan plotting a coup. Citing her distraction with Vasquez. "You're bleeding capital," Elena said. Kneeling. Her touch a lifeline. But not us. Samantha's tears came hot. "I can't lose this. It's all I have left of who I was before you." Elena's response was fierce. She gathered the emails, forwarding them to Jordan with a single line leverage. By morning, Harlan was out, ousted in an emergency vote. His faction crumbling under the proof of sabotage. Victory tasted bittersweet. Echo Chamber launched to acclaim, queer orgs adopting it for advocacy. A TEDx invite for Samantha on coding compassion. Elena joined for the talk, their hands brushing off stage. But Portland beckoned stronger. Elena's gallery show loomed. Her series Whispers unveiled, centering their story in abstracted forms. Samantha flew north alone for the opening. The Pearl District's lofts aglow with string lights and Sauvignon whispers. Elena's pieces dominated. One a diptych of locked boxes cracking open to rainbows. Another a silhouette of two women merging into circuitry. Critics murmured approval. Buyers circled. But Samantha saw the soul, the scar as a comet trail. Vermont pines woven into binary code. In the back room, amid champagne toasts, Elena pulled her into shadows. This is your proof too. We built it. Their celebration spilled into the night. A stroll along the East Bank Esplanade. Hands linked. Street musicians crooning folk covers of K.D. Lang. At Elena's loft, they danced slow to Nina Simone. Bodies swaying into bed. Explorations languid. Samantha's tongue tracing Elena's inner thigh. Eliciting shudders and pleas. Elena's fingers curling inside her until stars burst behind eyelids. But dawn brought a call. Bored revolt. Harlan, from his consultancy perch, had rallied dissidents, leaking distorted drive excerpts to paint Samantha as a thief. Stocks plummeted. Headlines screamed Harper's hidden hack, stolen love, stolen code. Samantha raced south. Elena's voice on speaker. Come back. We'll face it together. The jet lag hit like vertigo. HQ. Crisis mode reign. PR spins. Legal briefs. Samantha addressed the board in the glassed amphitheater. Voice amplified but cracking. This isn't theft. It's origin. Elena and Marcus gave freely. I hoarded in fear. Murmurs peaked. A vote loomed. Then Jordan burst in. Tablet aglow. Counterleaks from Elena's network. Testimonials from workshop alums using echo chamber to heal. Metrics showing user growth in marginalized communities. The tide turned. Harlan's cabal folded. Samantha retained control. But at cost. Slashed bonuses. A forced sabbatical clause. Exhausted, she collapsed into Elena's arms at SFO. Their cab ride home a cocoon of quiet. You're free now, Elena whispered, as the city lights blurred. With you, but freedom's edge sharpened, whispers of buyouts. The fortune teetering. The sabbatical clause activated like a dormant virus. 2 months enforced in fine print. Thrusting Samantha into uncharted downtime. San Francisco felt alien without deadlines. A city of strangers in hoodies hustling past her slower stride. She and Elena retreated to a sublet in No Valley. A gingerbread Victorian with bay windows framing Victorian rows, and distant Sutro Tower blinking like a watchful eye. Mornings unfolded lazy. Elena brewing Oaxacan coffee. Samantha journaling code fragments that morphed into poetry. Raw lines about fractures and firewalls. They filled days with rediscovery. Cooking classes at the ferry building yielded mole poblano disasters and laughter that echoed off tiled walls. Yoga in Dolores Park where rainbow flags snapped in breeze. Bodies bending into trust falls. Evenings. They hosted salons, queer coders and artists swapping tales over Elena's tamales. Samantha demoing echo chamber prototypes on her tablet. Voices amplifying in the room like live debug. But the fortune's shadow loomed. Harlan's leaks festered online. Reddit threads dissecting the Harper hack with sleuthing fervor. Posts from anon accounts tagging tech thief. Samantha monitored from her phone. Each ping a jab. It's noise, Elena soothed one night, massaging her shoulders as rain pattered the roof. Turn it off, easier said. A subpoena arrived midweek. Deeper deposition. The Chicago firm demanding the full drive for context. Samantha's lawyer advised compliance. But Elena vetoed. Redact the intimate. The rest? Let it speak. The hearing was a coliseum of legalese. Fluorescent hum underscoring barbs. Counsel grilled. Ms. Harper. These recordings did Ms. Vasquez consent to their use in product development. Samantha, palms damp on the stand, met Elena's gaze across the aisle. Consent was woven in. Our love was the lab. The judge ruled partial release. Intimate sealed. But the metadata's release ignited fresh scrutiny. Tech blogs pivoted. Romantic roots or ripoff? Investors pulled back. Echo chambers rollout staggered. Harlan, emboldened, launched a podcast Silence Codes, interviewing insiders with veiled barbs. Samantha unraveled in fragments, skipped meals, nights pacing the Victorians' creeks. Elena's arms her only tether. One storm-lashed evening, she snapped. I built this on us. And now it's crumbling because I dared to credit you. Elena's reply was steel-wrapped in silk. Or because you hid too long. Fight? Sam. Not flee. The pivot came at a queer film fest in the Castro, where a doc on transcoders screamed. Inspired, Samantha pitched Elena a radical, open-source the core hash, crediting publicly, turning defense to declaration. Let the world fork it. Make unbreakable communal. Elena's eyes lit. Dangerous. Beautiful. They drafted the manifesto in bed. Laptops glowing. Bodies intermittent distractions. Elena's foot tracing Samantha's calf. Kisses interrupting clauses. Uploaded at midnight. It trended by dawn. Open whisper. Developers forking. Queer hackers hailing the move. Harlan's podcast backfired. Drowned in praise. The Chicago suit settled out of court. Their claims debunked by community audits. Echo chambers surged. Partnerships with orgs like GLAAD flooding in. Emboldened, Samantha proposed to Elena over brunch at Tartine, croissants flaking as she slid a ring across the table. A simple band etched with binary for love. 01101101101110110110011000101. Marry me. Let's code forever. Elena's yes was a sob, sealing it with a kiss amid bakery bustle. But fortunes will turn sly. During their engagement hike in Muirwoods, redwoods towering like ancient servers, Samantha's phone vibrated. An anonymous tip from a bored ally. Harlan hadn't quit. He'd burrowed, allying with the rival firm eyeing WhisperNet acquisition. Proof: emails plotting insider trades. Rage boiled. Back home, Samantha confronted the board. Elena at her side. The Victorians' parlor a war room. Vote swung. Harlan excised for good. But the damage? A hostile bid launched. Shares inflating then volatile. Nights blurred into strategy sessions. Elena's paintings adorning the walls like talismans. Lovemaking became ritual, fierce. Grounding. Elena pinning Samantha to the rug. Fingers and tongue coaxing releases that washed away worry. Samantha returning with lips on Elena's breasts. Drawing gasps like code compiles. The bid climaxed at a shareholder meet in the Moscone Center. Samantha on stage. Elena in the front row. WhisperNet isn't for sale, she declared. Unveiling a holographic demo. User stories projected. Voices from global queer diasporas echoing we are heard. The crowd, investors, activists erupted. Bid withdrawn amid cheers. After. In the green room, Elena pulled her close. You spoke. We won. But victory hollowed when Elena's gallery called. A solo show in New York. 6 months immersion. Come with, Elena urged. Samantha hesitated. The fortune's demands tugging. Echo chamber needs me here. The rift widens subtly. Elena's sketches turning inward. Samantha's late nights at the office. A fight erupted over dinner. Paya cooling as words heated. You're slipping back into silence, Elena accused. I'm protecting us, Samantha countered. This life our life. Elena's departure for JFK was tear-streaked. A promise. Call when the code cracks. Alone. San Francisco closed in. The penthouse echoey. Samantha threw into work. But Elena's absence was a bug. Dreams of Vermont rains. Mornings without her laugh. She flew east unannounced. Finding Elena in a Brooklyn studio. Canvas rage and strokes of crimson. Forgive me, Samantha whispered. Arms enveloping. Elena's turn was slow. Then melting. Always. But build with me. Not despite. They reconciled in the studio's cot. Bodies urgent. Samantha's mouth between Elena's legs. Tongue delving until cries filled the air. Elena reciprocating with hands that knew every line. New York became bridge. Samantha remote leading. Elena painting cityscapes infused with circuit veins. Yet whispers persisted. A defector from Harlan's camp leaked financials. Painting WhisperNet vulnerable. The board pressured sale. Samantha resisted. But strain showed migraines. Elena's concern etching lines. Climax brewed at Elena's opening. Echoes unlocked. Met rooftop under stars. Collectors buzzing. Samantha's toast. To voices unbroken. But mid-speech. Her phone. Emergency board call. Rival bit doubled. Deadline dawn. She fled to the edge. Elena following. Sell or fold? No. Samantha's epiphany. Decentralize fully. Spin echo chamber independent. Funded by Community DAO. Fortune's not the chain. You are the proof. Elena's kiss sealed it. They announced at midnight. Code pushed live. Shares democratized. The bid evaporated. Freedom dawned. Decentralization unfurled like a fern in spring. WhisperNet's core handed to a DAO governed by users, queer coders, activists, artists voting on forks via encrypted polls. Samantha stepped back as steward. Not sovereign. Her title shifting to chief whisperer. A moniker Elena coined over late-night tacos in their Brooklyn sublet. The fortune fragmented into tokens. But liquidity flowed. Echo Chambers DAO raised millions in crypto drops. Funding global nodes from Cape Town to Mexico City. Life synced to Elena's rhythm. New York's pulse invigorated. Subway serenades. Rooftop barbecues with poet friends. Gallery crawls in Chelsea where Elena's star ascended. Samantha coded from coffee shops in Williamsburg. Laptop humming beside Elena's sketchpad. Their worlds merging in hybrid projects. AR filters overlaying user stories on cityscapes. Whispers visualized as murals. Intimacy deepened. Layers peeled. Weekends in the Catskills echoed Vermont. A rented cabin with no Wi-Fi. Where they hiked fog-veiled trails. Hands clasped against chill. Evenings by the lake. Elena read from her manuscript, a graphic novel of their arc. Panels blending code snippets with watercolor emotions. Samantha contributed dialogues. Her voice narrating the glitch of love. One dusk. As loons called, Elena knelt by the fire pit. We've built silences into symphonies. Marry me here. Now just us. The woods. Samantha's yes trembled. Rings exchanged. Elena's a twist of silver vine. Samantha's etched with echo. Their vows were vows unscripted. I promise to debug your doubts, Elena said. To fork our futures without fear. The ceremony bled into night. Bodies on a blanket under pines. Elena's mouth worshipping Samantha's folds. Slow circles building to quakes. Samantha atop. Grinding hips in rhythm with cricket chorus. Elena's cries a crescendo. Honeymoon stretched into months. A road trip tracing queer histories. Stonewall ghosts in NYC. Black lesbian archives in DC. Austin's vibrant scene where they two-stepped in dive halls. In New Orleans' Marigny. Voodoo-tinged jazz clubs. Elena's hips swayed hypnotic, pulling Samantha into dances that ended in Garden District BNBS. Sheets tangled in passion's wake. But the past pinged back. Harlan resurfaced in a Medium post, the true cost of tech romance, twisting their story into cautionary tale, alleging Dow as amateur hour ripe for hacks. Echoes rippled, security audits flagged. A minor breach in a peripheral node leaking test data. Samantha rallied the Dow Council via Zoom. Elena co-chairing from their Austin Airbnb. We've open source strength, she asserted. Patch and persist. The fix was communal. Global coders swarming. Vulnerability sealed in days. Harlan's narrative backfired. His consultancy shunned. He faded into obscurity. A footnote in their legend. Marriage grounded them. But ambitions diverged. Elena's novel deal demanded LA residencies for film options. Samantha's steward role pulled to SF hubs. They compromised. Bi-coastal. With a Montana ranch as neutral ground. A sprawling homestead near Bozeman. Bought with Dow grants. Its meadows for Elena's easels. Barns for Samantha's server sheds. Winter there was idle. Snow blanketing aspens. Wood stoves crackling as they planned expansions. Echo chamber for indigenous voices. Partnering with Navajo coders. Bundled in flannel. They explored with candles. Elena's fingers scissoring inside Samantha. Drawing guttural moans. Samantha's teeth grazing Elena's neck. Hips bucking in sync. Spring thawed cracks. A Dow vote loomed. Integrate AI for narrative synthesis. Samantha's brainchild to auto-encrypt trauma timelines. Elena opposed. Citing overreach. Machines can't feel the nuance. It's our voices, not algorithms. Debates heated over bison burgers at the ranch house. It's amplification, Samantha argued. Like your paintings, tools to layer truth. Or erase it. Elena's hurt flashed. Old fears of erasure surfacing. The vote passed narrowly. Elena abstaining. Tension icing the plains. She retreated to LA for a residency. Samantha to SF for audits. Calls grew sparse. Texts laced with subtext. Reunion in Montana was strained. Elena arriving with canvases of fractured mirrors. Samantha with code printouts. Dinner devolved. You're optimizing love again, Elena accused. Fork clattering. I'm evolving us. Samantha's voice broke. Like we vowed. Sleep eluded. Separate beds creaking. Dawn. Elena found Samantha by the corral. Tears freezing on cheeks. I miss your chaos. Embrace followed. Thawing into the barn. Hay-scented urgency. Elena's back against rough beams. Samantha's hand cupping her. Fingers thrusting deep amid gasps. Reversal on a blanket. Elena's tongue fervent. Samantha shattering with a cry that scattered birds. Healing wove slow. They co-facilitated a retreat. Queer creators in the Gallatin Valley. Workshops blending code jams and life drawing. One evening. Under aurora veils. Elena confessed. The AI scared me, echoes of your old silences. Machine speaking for us. Samantha nodded. I see it now. Let's hybrid. Human vetted. Art infused. The compromise birthed Aurora Echo. A success blending their strengths. Narratives voiced by AI but curated by artists. Launching to acclaim at a Bozeman Pride Fest. Summer peaked in triumph. Elena's novel optioned by a queer indie studio. Samantha keynoting at SF's Tech for Good Summit. But Harlan's ghost lingered. A final gambit. Lawsuit from a fabricated insider. Claiming Dow malfeasance. Court in Billings was brutal. Depositions dredging intimates. Counsel sneering at personal entanglements. Elena testified. Voice unwavering. Our love built unbreakable. This is malice. Samantha followed. Drive proffered. Full logs proving integrity. Judge dismissed. Sanctions on Harlan. Relief crashed post-verdict. Roadside motel en route home. Walls thin with highway hum. Their lovemaking defiant, positions shifting. Elena riding Samantha with abandon. Breasts bouncing. Climaxes sinking like flawless sync. Fortune reformed. Dow tokens valued high. Personal wealth and impact funds. Yet whispers of legacy nagged children? Elena's eyes lit at the notion. Samantha's froze. The question of legacy bloomed tentative. Like wild roses along the ranch's fence lines. Elena broached it first. Over huckleberry pie at a Bozeman diner. Her fork pausing mid-bite. Kids. Sam. Not now. But. Ever? Your code could raise hellions. My paints could color their worlds. Samantha's coffee turned bitter. Memories of her own fractured home. Absent dad. Mom coding through chemo surging. I want it. Terrified. But want it. Conversations cascaded. Sperm donors vetted via Dow Ethics Board. Surrogacy circles in queer networks. They chose reciprocity, Elena carrying first. A donor from Portland's Artists Co-op. His traits a mix of wry humor and olive skin echoing her own. Pregnancy announced itself in Montana's golden autumn. Elena's nausea hitting amid leaf-peeping drives. Samantha adapted. Nesting the ranch house with solar panels and art nooks. Her steward duties remote. Echo chambers nodes expanded. A maternal module for parenting stories going viral among lesbian families. Elena's glow deepened. Curves softening. But so did vulnerabilities, body dysmorphia and mirrors. Fears of history repeating. What if I'm not enough? She whispered one night. Belly just rounding. Samantha's head pillowed there. You are everything. Response was ritual. Baths drawn with lavender. Elena's back soaped slow. Kisses trailing to swollen breasts. Nipples pebbling under tongue. Lovemaking adapted, gentle. Sideline. Samantha's fingers circling Elena's clit with feather precision. Building to soft waves. Elena guiding Samantha's hand lower. Their releases whispered harmonies. Winter confined them. Blizzards blanketing the ranch in hush. Samantha shoveled paths to the studio, where Elena painted maternity surreal. Bellies as canvases blooming circuits. Fetuses as fireflies in code clouds. Dow meetings via satellite. Samantha advocating for family leave protocols. Her voice textured with impending fatherhood, parenthood. She corrected. Embracing the non-binary of it. Complications arose in February. Spotting at 20 weeks. Bedrest ordered. Helena. Montana's clinic became satellite. Samantha juggling Zooms from vinyl chairs. Fear gripped. Scans clear. But Elena's anxiety spiked. Old abandonment wounds raw. Don't leave me alone in this. Never. Samantha's vigil was constant. Readings from Octavia Butler. Code lullabies hummed. Nights holding her through cramps. The scare bonded deeper. Birthing a podcast. Whispers of what comes next. Elena interviewing pregnant queer kin. Samantha touching the back end. Listeners surged. Sponsors from ethical brands. Spring thaws brought vigor. Elena off rest. Belly prominent. They hosted a ranch retreat, birthing doulas and coders workshopping apps for NICU support. One guest, a trans dad from Chicago, shared Marcus's stories, tightening family ties. Marcus visited in May. Beard trimmed, bearing tamales and tails. Over grill smokes. He grilled Samantha. You broke her once. Dour not. Don't again. Vow renewed. She's my core. Ultrasound revealed girl. Kicking fierce. They named her Aria Air. Song. The Echo Unbound. Summer swelled Elena. Mobility waning. But spirit soared. LA beckoned for novel press. But she deferred. Prioritizing nest. Samantha flew solo for a summit. Returning to find Elena's surprise. Nursery murals. Walls alive with intertwined galaxies, Vermont stars. Seth bridges. Portland rivers. Intimacy evolved. Elena dominant. Straddling Samantha's face. Grinding slow to mutual sighs. Samantha's turn worshipping the bump. Lips on stretch marks like sacred text. Labor hit Labor Day. Pre-dawn pains under harvest moon. Gallatin Clinic dash. Contractions syncing with radio indie folk. Aria arrived at sunrise. Cry piercing as first light dark curls. Elena's eyes. Samantha's determined chin. Parenting crashed like untested beta. Sleepless feeds. Aria's wails debugging cries. Elena nursed in rockers. Samantha pacing with burps. Their tag team a symphony of spit up and snuggles. Dow granted paternity flex. Samantha logging in from playmats. Challenges mounted. Postpartum haze for Elena. Doubts creeping. Am I failing her? Samantha's overcompensate. Apps for sleep tracking. Overkill. Harlan's Echo? A troll resurgence. Forums mocking tech mom's token tot. Doxing attempts on Aria's privacy. Samantha fortified nodes. But rage simmered. Climax at a family gathering, Marcus in town. Barbecue under big sky. Harlan's proxy. A bitter ex-employee crashed. Slurring accusations. Your empire's a sham family. Samantha rose. Aria on hip. It's real. Unlike your grudge. Ejection followed. But scar lingered. Elena. Later by the fire. We shield her. But teach her voice. Resolution. Family Dow charter. Privacy etched in code. Legacy as lesson. Autumn deepened bonds. Aria's firsts roles. Ku's miracle code. Elena's novel filmed. Cameo for them. Samantha's book deal on ethical tech. One starry night. Aria asleep between. They made love soft. Fingers linked. Gazes locked. Climaxes silent waves. Fortune. Tokens grew. But wealth was this whispers into roars. Aria's toddlerhood galloped like untamed mustangs across Montana plains. Her curls wild as Elena's. Curiosity sharp as Samantha's queries. The ranch evolved. Play structures from reclaimed code crates. A treehouse studio where Elena taught pint-sized painting. Samantha wiring interactive lights that pulsed to lullabies. Echo Chambers family arm boomed. Notes in preschools for story sharing. Dow votes now including youth proxies, kids like Arya doodling input. Life bi-coasted seamless. Winter's Bozeman deep in snow angels. Summer's SF fog kiss parks. LA jaunts for Elena's screen premieres. Arya babbled Spanglish code. Mommy. Debug L's soul. Pointing at sunsets. Parenting's glitches tested. Arya's tantrums at 2. Elena's patience fraying post-film rap. She's you stubborn glitch. Elena teased one meltdown over mismatched socks. Samantha laughed. Scooping Arya. Or your chaos. Watch fork the outfit. Diversion worked. But deeper strains surfaced. Elena's wanderlust for global residencies. Samantha's anchor in Dow stewardship. A Berlin invite for Elena. Queer art biennial. Month-long. Come, she urged. Packing canvases. Samantha demurred. Arya's preschool starts. Notes need tuning. Rift echoed old patterns. Elena went. FaceTimes glowing with gallery nights. But static grew delays. Distractions. Arya asked. When Mommy Echo back? Samantha's solo week stretched. Bedtime stories solo. Ranch quiet. Harlan's legacy. A Dow schism purists versus innovators. Vote on commercial tie-ins splitting council. Crisis peaked mid-residency. Hack on a European node. Leaked stories from abuse survivors. Blame flew. Fingers at Samantha's overreach. She rallied virtually. Elena dialing in from a Berlin cafe. Human error, Elena asserted. Patch with heart. Fix collaborative. But toll Samantha's burnout. Night staring at Arya's monitor. Elena's return delayed by extensions. Homecoming fractured. Airport hug stiff. Arya clinging. Dinner devolved. You're drifting again, Samantha accused. You're caging, Elena shot. Fortune's not family. Storm raged. Arya shielded at Marcus's. Alone. They circled. Vermont flashbacks. Motel echoes. We vowed forever, Elena wept. Samantha knelt. I fear losing you to the world. Embrace ignited repair. Bedroom slow burn. Elena's hands pinning wrists. Mouth claiming breasts. Samantha flipping. Thigh grinding. Releases raw confessions. Therapy followed. Queer counselor in Billings. Sessions unpacking attachment code. Progress, joint travels. Berlin redux with family. Arya finger painting U-Bahn tags. Areas 4's turn pivotal. Preschool questions on 2 mommies. Samantha scripting echo apps for explanation. Elena's biennial success spawn tours Tokyo. Sydney but with family clauses. Global hops wove tapestry. Kyoto temples for meditation retreats. Sydney harbors for Dow summits. Arya thrived. Multilingual mischief. Back ranch. Legacy deepened. Adoption talks for sibling. International donors vetted. But Harlan's specter. Final blow, a memoir. Cracked codes. Self-published screed vilifying Samantha. Sales spiking on controversy. Reviews stung. Vindictive vendetta. But traction pulled investors wary. Dow audit cleared. But PR war ensued. Samantha's op-ed in Wired. From silence to strength. Why love hacks hate. Elena's counter. Mural series fractured fortunes. Exhibited in SF. Arya's handprints embedded. Climax at launch. Harlan crashes. Book in hand. Your fairy tale's fraud. Samantha. Elena flanking. Arya on hip. Ours is real. Yours ends here. Security ushered. But catharsis lingered. Post-party. Oceanside walk in Pacifica. Waves erasing footprints. Resolution. Legal gag on Harlan. Dow fortifies against smears. Family expands, surrogate for boy. Donor from Sydney node. Birth in spring Leo. Lion-hearted cry. Elena caring again. Samantha cutting cord. Duo parenting double joys. Arya bossing baby burps. Leo's gurgles sinking sibling songs. Challenges. Sleep regressions. Elena's postpartum shadow. Support circles, queer parent pods buffered. Summerfest. Ranch pride. Bonfires and binary dances. Arya leads conga. Leo and sling. Intimacy rekindled. Post-bedtime. Nursery monitor green. They steal to studio, Elena's back to canvas. Samantha entering from behind. Thrusts measured moans. Switch to floor. Elena's legs wrapped. Climaxes crashing quiet. Fortune peaks. Echo global. Tokens philanthropic. But true wealth. Chaos coded into harmony. Years layered like varnish on Elena's canvases. The ranch a palimpsest of family. Scratches from Arya's climbing phase. Leo's crayon rebellions on walls turned art. At 8 and 6. The kids were whirlwinds. Arya coding simple games on Samantha's old tablet. Leo sketching fantastical beasts with Elena's bold strokes. Echo chamber span continents. It's Tao a democracy of millions. Nodes in refugee camps and rural collectives amplifying the silenced. From Rohingya testimonies to Appalachian queer yarns. Samantha. Now in her 40s. War stewardship lightly. Keynote sparse. Focus on mentorship. Training young queer devs in Bozeman barns. Elena's renown crested. MacArthur whisperer. Her graphic novels adapted into streaming series. Murals commissioned for UN halls. Yet home anchored. Pancake Sundays. Family hikes where Leo quizzed constellations. Arya decoded cloud shapes. Challenges mellowed but persisted. Areas tween queries on heritage. Why no abuela visits? Prompted Chicago pilgrimages. Marcus's stories bridging. Leo's schoolyard taunt. Your moms are weird. Met with Echo workshops. Turning bully into ally. Global pulls tugged. Elena's Paris Fellowship. Samantha's Nairobi Summit. They caravan family. Kids' passports stamped with lessons, Eiffel ironies. Savannah safaris. But jet lag's toll. Arguments in airport lounges. You're prioritizing polish over presence. Reconciliation's ritual, Parisian attics. Elena's fingers tracing Samantha's silvering temples. Slow grinds building to shutters. Nairobi nights. Samantha's mouth on Elena under mosquito nets. Tastes of salt and earth. Legacy loomed larger. Kids' futures. Arya's hackathon wins hinted prodigy. Leo's art prizes echoed Elena. College talks sparked. Stanford for her. RSD for him. Samantha's pause. Or paths we never walked. Harlan's end. Obit in trades. Lonely decline. A quiet mercy. His shadow? Dow's resilience. A ethics clause named anti-grudge. Climax brewed domestic. Arya's crush confession on a classmate. First queer flutter. Elena guides heart talks. Samantha builds privacy sims. Leo's parallel. Bullying resurgence. School admin tone deaf. Rally. Family sit-in at PDA. Echo demoing allyship modules. Victory. Curriculum shift. Kids empowered. But fracture intimate. Elena's diagnosis, early rheumatoid. Hand stiffening. Brush grips adapted. My colors fading. Samantha's vigil. Adaptive tools coded. Art therapy retreats. Elena's fear. Don't let me become silence. Vow. We'll paint louder. Healing arc. Joint memoir. Coded colors. Alternating chapters. Samantha's logics. Elena's lyrics. Bestseller. Tour with kids in tow. Final twist. Dow crisis corporate raider bid. Veiled Harlan echoes. Samantha testifies at hearing. Elena illustrating live streams. Win communal. Bid quashed. Code enshrine nonprofit. Twilight years glimpsed. Ranch porches. Grandkids hypothetical. One harvest eve. Fire pit circle. Arya strums guitar. Leo drums. Elena sketches. Samantha narrates stars as algorithms. Intimacy endures. Bedroom dim. Bodies familiar maps. Elena's hands. Aided. On Samantha's hips. Rocking gentle. Samantha's lips reverent. Drawing sighs eternal. Fortune. Dissolved into foundations. Echoes eternal. The woman Samantha forgot? Never again. Proof in every breath. Every brushstroke. Every bug fixed together.